When we gather here today, I want to invite you not just to listen with your ears, but to listen with your hearts and your histories. There is a quiet story that has followed us through the centuries, a story not written loudly on billboards or splashed across flashing screens. No, this story is whispered, passed from mother to daughter, from healer to seeker, from scripture to soul. And it begins with something so simple, so humble, you might almost overlook it: olive oil. The ancients knew. The women of long ago understood that olive oil was never just food. It wasn't merely a cooking ingredient to make things taste a little better. It was medicine, it was comfort, it was power in a bottle, straight from the earth, given as a gift. For older women especially, olive oil has been a hidden strength, a secret passed down through faith and practice, tucked quietly into the corners of daily life. When you walk through ancient texts, the holy scriptures themselves, you find olive oil woven into the fabric of sacred living. It wasn't an afterthought. Kings were anointed with it, prophets carried it, families lit their lamps with it. And women strong, wise women used it to heal, to nourish, and to protect. They knew something we sometimes forget today. Our bodies are temples, and what we put into them and upon them matters deeply. I say to you, as gently as I can, our grandmothers were not just cooking when they poured that golden oil into their pots. They were practicing medicine. When they rubbed it onto aching knees, onto tired hands, onto lined faces, they were honoring the legacy of women before them and building strength for the years ahead. Now there are scientists today, doctors with white coats and charts, telling us what olive oil can do, how it soothes inflammation, protects the heart, keeps the skin supple, and helps the joints move with grace instead of stiffness. But long before there were medical journals, there were women standing in front of wooden tables with bottles of olive oil in hand, knowing exactly what to do. I don't speak to you today from a place of theory. I speak from a place of history, from the earth up. Olive oil carries with it the sunlight, the rain, the patience of time, and when an older woman takes that oil, rubs it on her skin, stirs it into her meals, she's participating in something eternal. She's reminding herself that she is still here. Her story is not over. There is something quiet and powerful about an older woman tending to her body with care. Society often wants to make her invisible, wants to write her off as finished, as past her time. But when she picks up that bottle of oil, she declares otherwise. She says, I am not done. My skin still deserves to glow. My joints still deserve ease. My heart still deserves protection. It's not vanity. It's not indulgence. It's preservation. It's respect. The same way the ancients anointed their sacred spaces with oil, you must anoint yourselves. Not just for beauty, but for health, for strength, for longevity. I've seen women who believed they had to accept every ache, every stiffness, every dullness in their skin as just the way things are. But it doesn't have to be so. There is a simple thing, a spoonful a day, a rub in the evening, that can change the story you tell yourself about your body. Olive oil may seem like a small thing, but in that smallness is profound power. Think about it. One tree, standing tall and patient for years before it bears its first fruit. One olive crushed, releasing oil that holds centuries of quiet knowledge. That's the kind of patience and strength we, as older women, embody. We've stood through storms, we've waded through seasons, we've borne fruit in our time, and now we deserve to be cared for with the same reverence we once gave to others. So I ask you, next time you see that bottle in your kitchen or on your shelf, don't walk past it like it's just another thing. Pick it up, use it with intention. Feed yourself not just with food, but with care. Rub it on your skin, not just to soften the surface, but to remind your body it is loved, it is worthy, it is sacred. One simple truth I want to leave with you now, and let it settle quietly in your bones. The ancients knew. Olive oil wasn't just food, it was medicine. Now, my sisters, as we sit together in this moment, I want to remind you of something that too many have forgotten, or perhaps never truly learned in the first place. Self-love is not some luxury meant for the young or for those with time on their hands. Self-love is self-preservation. It is as necessary as breath. It is as vital as water. It is not selfish to care for yourself. It is wise. It is not indulgent to nurture your body. It is holy. I want you to think about the women who came before us, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers. Many of them gave and gave until they had nothing left. They fed their families, they cleaned their homes, they prayed over others, but too often they neglected themselves. And while their strength is something we admire, we must also learn from their quiet sacrifices. Today, I'm telling you, we are not here to pour out until we are empty. We are here to fill ourselves up, to nurture ourselves, so that we may continue standing, walking, loving, and living. Especially as older women, especially as women who have already given so much, and there is no simpler or more ancient way to practice this daily self-love than with olive oil. A spoonful in the morning, rubbed gently onto the skin, worked lovingly into tired joints. These are not just actions. These are affirmations. They say to the world, and more importantly to ourselves, I am still here. I am still worthy of care. The scriptures speak of anointing. But what is anointing, if not the purest form of self-respect and self-love? When we anoint ourselves, whether we call it skincare or nourishment, we are participating in a ritual as old as time. We are telling our bodies, I see you, I honor you, I will not abandon you now, not after all you've carried me through. I have seen too many women, wise women, seasoned women, who walk through life feeling invisible, feeling as though the world has moved on without them. Their children grown, their careers retired, their names whispered instead of called. But let me say this plainly, just because the world forgets does not mean you must. You have a responsibility to yourself. You have a duty to honor the life still pulsing within you. You see, self-love is not about waiting for someone else to tell you you're beautiful. It's not about hoping someone else will make time for your care. It starts right here with your own hands. When you pick up that olive oil and rub it on your face, or stir it into your morning tea, you are not waiting. You are acting. You are loving yourself in the way only you can. I say it to you again, self-love is self-preservation. It is the difference between merely existing and truly living, and you deserve to live, not just survive, but live. To feel your skin smooth beneath your fingertips, to move your body with ease and comfort, to wake up each morning and say, yes, I am here, and I am worth the care I give. Think about all the love you've poured into others through the years, into children, into husbands, into family, into friends. That love was not wasted, but it must also be directed back toward yourself. And olive oil, so simple, so unassuming, gives you a way to do that every single day. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require a grand ceremony or expensive products. Just a little oil, a little intention, and a little time spent with yourself. Massaging it into your skin, stirring it into your food, sipping it gently. These are not small acts. These are quiet declarations of your own worth. The world may tell you to move faster, to do more, to look outside yourself for validation. But I am telling you, slow down, turn inward. Love yourself with the same tenderness you have given so freely to others. Let olive oil be your daily reminder. Let it be the bridge between your history and your present moment. Let it be a simple, sacred act that says, I am valuable, I am deserving, I am loved by myself. And if there's anyone here today feeling as though their time for self-love has passed, let me say gently, that is not so. It is never too late to care for yourself. It is never too late to begin again. You are not a finished story. You are still writing the pages one day, one ritual, one spoonful of olive oil at a time. I want you to carry that truth with you wherever you go from this moment forward. Speak it to yourself in the mirror. Whisper it to your soul when the world grows quiet. And remember, self-love is not selfish. It is not a gift given only to the young. It is self-preservation. It is sacred. It is yours. Let me say something plain and true, something that reaches beyond fancy words or shiny bottles lining the store shelves. Health is hidden in simplicity. It always has been, and sometimes we get so busy looking for the biggest, newest thing, we forget to honor the small, quiet gifts already placed in our hands. I've watched us women, especially as we grow older, get caught up in the chase for complicated answers. Pills for this, creams for that. Some of us will fill our cabinets with jars and boxes, believing health comes packaged with a price tag and a long list of ingredients we can barely pronounce. But, my sisters, there is a quieter way, a softer, simpler way, one that was here long before all that noise. Olive oil, a single golden thread running from ancient times right into our modern lives. That is simplicity. That is health. Now let me tell you, the world doesn't always honor simplicity. The world will try to sell you what's already been freely given. They'll tell you you're missing something, that you need more, that you need different. But when we look to the earth, when we look to what's been growing and nourishing people for centuries, we find the truth. There is power in simple things. One olive tree, patient, steady, growing slowly in the sun, it doesn't rush, it doesn't show off. But it produces fruit that holds everything an older woman's body needs: healthy fats for her heart, smoothness for her skin, ease for her joints. It doesn't have flashing lights or bold labels. It just stands there, offering what it always has. I want you to really feel that in your spirit. Health doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to come in 20 steps. It can live in a spoonful of olive oil stirred into your food, in a gentle rub on your skin at night. That's it. When we were young, maybe we thought we had to chase down beauty and health with big efforts. But now, as women seasoned by life, we have the wisdom to slow down and see what's been quietly waiting for us all along. Olive oil doesn't shout for your attention, but it stands ready, steady as a rock. And let me say something about that simplicity. It isn't laziness. It isn't giving up. It is choosing what works without all the extra weight. It is honoring your time, your body, and your spirit by not cluttering them with things they don't need. I think about my grandmother, a woman with strong hands, worn from work. She didn't have shelves full of lotions or potions, but she had a bottle of olive oil, and I remember how she'd rub it into her knees when they ached, how she'd smooth it into her skin after washing her face at night. And I remember how, even as the years stretched long behind her, she carried herself with a softness and a strength that didn't fade. That wasn't luck, that was intention, that was simplicity practiced every day. Now, there's research now, scientists proving what grandmothers already knew. Olive oil helps lower blood pressure, protects the heart, soothes inflammation, even keeps the brain sharp. But long before the charts and studies, there were women living this truth, and you can too. You don't need a long list of products. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. One habit, one small ritual, a teaspoon of olive oil each morning, a moment each evening to smooth it into your skin. That's all it takes, and I know there are some here who might feel like simple things can't possibly be enough. We've been trained to think more means better, but I ask you, isn't it true that the sweetest moments in life are often the simplest? A quiet cup of tea, a slow walk in the evening, a kind word from someone you love, it's the same with your health. I believe older women deserve to feel good in their bodies, deserve to move with ease and grace, deserve to look in the mirror and see a glow that comes not from paint or powder, but from care and nourishment, and olive oil, simple, steady, pure, can help give you that. It is not about chasing youth. It is about embracing life as you are, where you are, with love and gentleness. Simplicity does not mean smallness. It means focus. It means clarity. It means trusting what has always worked and letting go of the unnecessary. So, as you leave here today, I want you to remember this truth. Health is hidden in simplicity, and simplicity is not weakness. It is strength, steady and sure. It is olive oil in the cupboard, waiting quietly, holding everything you need to keep walking in beauty and strength through all your days. When I look out at you today, women seasoned by life, crowned with silver hair and memories worn like fine silk, I want to say something that perhaps you haven't heard in a while, or maybe not in way you deserve. Beauty has no expiration date. It is not something that fades away just because the years pass. It is not something lost when the skin softens, or when the face gathers lines like a well-read book. No, beauty grows deeper, richer, more honest as we grow older. There's a certain kind of beauty in youth, that's true. But it's surface beauty, bright, quick, loud. What I am speaking about now is a quieter beauty, the kind that doesn't have to shout to be seen, the kind that carries stories in its eyes, wisdom in its voice, and grace in every step. That is the beauty of an older woman, and it deserves to be nurtured, celebrated, honored. Now, I know what the world says. I know how often we are told that after a certain age, our worth is tied to the past, that we've had our time, that now we should sit quietly, blend into the background, make room for the younger faces. But I refuse to believe that, and I refuse to let you believe that too. Your beauty is not behind you. It is with you right here, right now. I've watched women shrink themselves not in body, but in spirit, because they believed the lie that aging somehow makes them less. And I want to say to you gently, that is not the truth. The truth is, an older woman has a beauty no youth can match. It's a beauty earned, a beauty carved from resilience, from tenderness, from every sorrow survived, and every joy held close. But here's something I want you to really hear. Just because that beauty is quieter does not mean it doesn't need tending. A garden, no matter how long it has been growing, still needs water, still needs care. And that is where olive oil comes into our lives, not as some miracle or quick fix, but as a daily act of honoring ourselves. When you smooth olive oil onto your skin, onto those hands that have held babies, washed dishes, written letters, wiped tears, you're not just moisturizing. You're giving thanks. You're saying, these hands are still here. They have worked. They have loved. They deserve care. When you take a spoonful of olive oil in the morning, you are not just feeding your body. You are feeding your spirit. You are saying, this heart of mine, this body of mine, it still matters. It still deserves protection and nourishment. Beauty has no expiration date, but it does require attention. Not because you owe it to the world to look a certain way, not because you are chasing youth, but because you are still living. And anything that is living deserves to be cared for with love. There's a difference between fading away and choosing to shine in a new, softer light. When an older woman walks into a room, she may not turn heads the way she once did, but she commands respect in a way that youth never could. That quiet confidence, that presence, it glows from the inside out, and olive oil, simple as it is, helps nurture that glow. It keeps the skin supple, yes, but more importantly, it reminds us to slow down, to make time for ourselves, to treat our bodies like the sacred temples they have always been. There are women here who may feel the weight of years, who look in the mirror and see only what time has taken. But I want you to shift your gaze. Look not just at the surface, but deeper. See the strength in your eyes, the softness in your smile. See the life written in every line. That is your beauty, and don't let anyone, not the world, not even your own inner voice, tell you otherwise. Beauty doesn't fade, it transforms, it grows deeper roots, stretches out wider branches, it becomes something lasting, something real. That's why I say, take care of yourself. Rub that olive oil onto your skin, not as a chore, but as a ritual. Not as vanity, but as reverence. When you nourish your skin, your joints, your heart, you are standing in quiet defiance against a world that tries to make older women invisible. You are here, you are still radiant, and that radiance is not just on the surface. It comes from the years you have walked through, the lessons you have carried, the love you have given and received. So, let your beauty show, sisters. Let it show in how you walk, in how you speak, in how you care for yourself each day. Let it show in the quiet moments when you stand before the mirror and smile, knowing you are enough, more than enough, just as you are. Beauty has no expiration date, and neither do you. Let me tell you something I've learned from walking many roads, from listening to women older than me and watching women younger than me stumble their way through life, just as we all have. There's a secret most folks overlook in their rush to get things done, the power of consistency. Not just grand, sweeping changes, but those small, quiet rituals done every single day. That's where strength lives, that's where health grows. One small thing, done with care, repeated over time, becomes the foundation for a life well lived. Now, it's easy to look at something as simple as olive oil and think, how can that make a difference? How can a spoonful in the morning, a rub on my skin at night, really matter? But I'll tell you it matters. It matters not just because of what olive oil does for the body, but because of what practicing that ritual does for the spirit. When you show up for yourself in small ways every day, you are saying, I am worth this moment. I am worth this care. I have seen women who give everything to everyone else, but when it comes time to tend to themselves, they hesitate. They say, oh, I'll do it later, or it doesn't really matter. But it does, because life isn't made up of big moments only. Life is shaped by the small, steady things we do again and again. One spoon in the morning, one at night. A rub on the skin, a drop in the hair. These tiny things add up. They create rhythm. They create balance. They create health. Think about the olive tree itself. It doesn't grow overnight. It doesn't produce fruit the first year or the second. But it stands there, growing inch by inch, season after season, patient, steady. It knows the value of consistency. And when that fruit does come, when that oil is finally pressed, it's rich, it's full, it's worth the wait. That's what I want you to carry in your heart today. That same patient consistency that lives in the olive tree can live in you. Now, I know in today's world everything moves so fast. People want instant results. They want pills that work overnight, creams that erase every line in one swipe. But we are wiser than that. We know that anything real, anything lasting, takes time. It takes showing up, day after day, doing what we know is good, even if no one else sees it, even if it doesn't shout for attention. There's a peace that comes from daily rituals, a quiet strength. When you wake up in the morning and pour that little spoonful of olive oil, It's not just about heart health or smoother skin. It's about starting the day on your terms, saying to the world, before anyone else's needs or demands come pressing in, "This moment is for me." And when you end the night by smoothing it into your skin, you're closing the day the same way, with care, with calm, with a steady hand. And it doesn't stop there. That consistency starts to echo out into other parts of your life. When you make time for yourself each morning and night, you start making time for yourself in other ways too. You choose better food. You speak kinder words to yourself. You stand a little taller in the world. It all begins with one simple habit. That's the power of consistency. I know some days it feels hard to show up for yourself, especially as the years stretch on. There are mornings when the body aches and evenings when the spirit feels too tired to bother. But those are the moments when it matters most. Those are the times when that daily ritual isn't just about health. It's about resilience. It's about saying, no matter how I feel today, I am still worth this care. Think about it like prayer. You don't only pray when life is good, when you feel strong. You pray through every season, through joy, through sorrow, through waiting. You keep showing up, and in showing up, your spirit stays steady. It's the same with these small acts of self-care. They are a kind of prayer too, a prayer made with your hands, with your choices, with your daily movements. And just like prayer, consistency with your health is not about perfection. It's not about doing it perfectly every single time. It's about coming back to it again and again whenever you can. It's about keeping the thread unbroken as best you can. One missed morning doesn't undo the work. One skipped night doesn't erase the care you've given yourself. You just pick it up again, you keep going. What I want for each of you is to know the peace that comes from that steady rhythm, to feel the quiet power in those daily rituals, and to trust that even if it feels small, it is building something real. Health, beauty, resilience from the inside out. One spoon in the morning, one at night, a rub on the skin, a drop in the hair. Let that be your quiet anthem, your steady practice, your way of honoring yourself day after day. That's the power of consistency, shaping your days, your body, and your spirit one small act at a time. When I stand here and look at each of you, your hands folded in your laps, your eyes holding both fire and softness, I am reminded that we carry not just our own stories, but the stories of the women who came before us. Our mothers, our grandmothers, the women whose names we know, and the women whose names we never learned. And so today I am here to say what sometimes goes unsaid. When we honor our bodies, we honor their legacy. There's something powerful in recognizing that the way we care for ourselves is not just about today. It's about yesterday, it's about tomorrow. It's about all the women who once stood where we now stand, and all the women who will one day follow in our footsteps. The Bible speaks often of oil, of anointing, of healing, of blessing. That wasn't by accident. That was a message written down through time. Oil as a symbol of care, of love, of sacred attention. Now, I know there are women here who were raised up believing that tending to yourself was selfish, that looking after your own health or beauty was something you did only after everyone else was taken care of. But I am here to tell you, we must rewrite that story. We must reclaim the truth that taking care of ourselves is part of honoring the women who carried us, who taught us, who prayed over us when we were too small to pray for ourselves. When an older woman picks up a bottle of olive oil and smooths it onto her skin, she is not just moisturizing. She is participating in a tradition as old as time. She is saying to her grandmothers, to her great-grandmothers, I have not forgotten you. I have not let go of the wisdom you passed down. You showed me how to care for a home, how to raise children, how to hold my head high when life tried to bow it low. And now I show you that I remember by caring for the body you helped bring in, This world, it is not vanity, it is respect, it is legacy. The way we treat our bodies teaches the next generation how to treat theirs. If they see us neglect ourselves, if they see us wither before our time because we believed we no longer mattered, what will they learn? But if they see us standing tall, moving with grace, rubbing oil into our hands and faces with steady, loving attention, what then? Then they will know that life does not end when the hair turns silver or the skin gathers lines. Then they will learn that beauty and health do not belong only to the young. Then they will carry that knowledge forward. I think often of my own grandmother. I remember how she would sit quietly in the evening, pouring a little oil into her hands and smoothing it over her arms, over her knees. It wasn't a performance, it wasn't for show. She wasn't getting ready to go anywhere, it was just for her. A private ritual, and I watched. Even as a little girl, I watched, I learned. And now, as I stand here today, I carry that moment with me. Her quiet care taught me something about strength. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength looks like a woman honoring her own body, alone in her room, with no one else watching. That is why I say to you now, don't wait for someone else to give you permission. Don't wait for someone else to tell you it's okay to care for yourself. Honor your body because it has carried you through storms and sunshine both. Honor it because it has endured, because it has loved, because it has held laughter and sorrow alike. Every wrinkle, every scar, every ache. These are the marks of a life fully lived, and they deserve your care. Olive oil, simple as it is, can be part of that care. A daily ritual that connects you not just to yourself, but to the women who came before and the women yet to come. You don't have to make it complicated. One spoonful in the morning to nourish your heart, a quiet rub in the evening to soften your skin. And as you do it, let your mind rest on those who taught you without words. Let your heart open to the thought of the little ones who might one day look to you for guidance. When we care for ourselves with patience and love, we create a living example. We show the next generation what it means to walk through this world with dignity. We show them that age is not a thing to fear. It is a thing to embrace, to honor, to wear proudly. And so I say to you now, gently but firmly, the way you treat yourself is not just about you. It is about legacy. It is about memory. It is about the quiet, sacred chain of women stretching back through time and reaching forward into the future.